Hey everybody, today I have a super short video which is very similar to one I made a few months ago about splitting the area of a triangle into two equal area parts. Here we have a similar thing. So basically this inner circle, which has a radius r1, it's the same area as the radius of this, as the area of this band here, okay? And this band is between the circle of radius r2 and the circle of radius r1. Okay, so what we're trying to find is what the difference between the radii of these two circles is. So what we're trying to find is this dotted portion. Okay, so that's our goal. So we can just start with a little statement about the areas. We can just use that. So we know that the area of the smaller circle, so that's pi times r1 squared, it's going to be the same as if we take the whole larger circle and then subtract the area of that smaller circle, and then we get the band. So we get pi r2 squared minus pi r1 squared. Okay, and you can immediately notice that the pi's cancel out. Let me write that a little better. So the pi's just cancel out there. And then what we can do now is we notice that we have an r1 squared on both sides, and we can just add this guy over there, so we get 2r1 squared equals r2 squared. So what we want to find is r2 minus r1, that's our goal. So if we just square root both sides, then what we get, I'll just put the r2 here, so r2 is equal to r1 times root 2, so that's just square rooting both sides. And so now all we have to do is subtract r1 from both sides. So we get r2 minus r1 is equal to r1 root 2 and then minus r1. So I just subtracted r1 on both sides. And so from here, all we have to say is just one more step. r2 minus r1 is just r1 times root 2 minus 1. And this step isn't totally necessary, but I just think it looks a little better to have just a constant multiplied by r1. And this is a pretty interesting result because it actually doesn't depend on r2 at all. So this little difference here is entirely dependent on what r1 is. And that makes sense if you think about it, because the larger that this inner circle gets, the larger that the outer circle has to get, because that band also has to get larger. So, you know, it makes sense that it's only dependent on r1. But yeah, I just wanted to do a short little video on this because I thought it was interesting, so I hope you guys enjoy.